Hello everyone. Hello my Ringles. How we doing today? My Ringoids. How we doing? Welcome in Akaza, Maxine, Tani, Froki, King. Hope you're all doing good today. Thank you for the check-ins. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope you're all having a good day. You may have passed out last night, but now you're awake. I'm glad you got some sleep, some honk shoes, and welcome, welcome, Gum. You're horny? Damn. Just call me a Pringle? No, a Ringle. That's what those cute little things at the bottom of the stream are. They're Ringles. That's like you and shit. That's like the personification of you on my stream. Aren't they cute? I made them
I'm
myself.
barely running better than a car held together with duct tape.
I feel that, Akaza. I am so tired today. I'm so tired. I'm not stimky, Froky, how dare you? New variety of beast, the troll, sometimes referred to as nilbogs. Brethren species to trolls. This is in the goblins from the film Troll 2. I don't think I have those guys, but as druid-like monsters, I like druids. Druids are cool. Pokemon! Yes, it's Pokemon today. Because I'm EP and don't want to use my brain all that much. You just got a score of, I can't even, 1.5755 E33. Is that like a billion? A couple billion? A single queen on anti-fort? That's insane, Next. Holy shit. Also, welcome in. I hope you're having a good day. You had pizza! Yummy! What flavor pizza did you have?
Uh-oh, stinky, uh-oh, stinky, uh-oh, stinky, uh-oh, stinky.
Summon the hemorrhoid.
He's clean today! He is clean. What if I told you that hemorrhoid's asleep? Hold that thought, Froky. He might be awake later on in stream. Unless that's him making noise out there, but if it is, he's just woken up. No, that's a shithead. Nope, it's an orange-flavored shithead making noise. I will give you the hemorrhoid says hi points back, because
So anyway, competitive shitting.
I don't know whether he's going to be here at any point in the stream or if he's going to want to say hi, because he's probably tired. We've both had kind of a really cooked sleeping schedule lately, and we're both trying to fix it. I think I'm having better luck than he is, because he was planning on staying up, I think, and then ended up going to bed at like 12 p.m. So midday today. It's now 8. So he should be up soon, but just in case he isn't. I just realized that I haven't accepted any channel point requests in a very long time, and there's like 8,000 of them. That's epic. That one. And now I'm going to complete all to get rid of them. 83 zeros! That's a lot of fucking zeros. Oh, 33 zeros. That's a lot of zeros. Refund them. I'm not gonna refund 8,000 channel point redemptions. No thank you. I lost the game again today. Shit. Well, damn. Thank you for the hydrate though, Talia. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Giant trolls, which are in and of themselves distant cousins of the goblinoid races. Oh, okay. I can kind of imagine what they look like. Is he sleeping at 4 a.m. Canadian time? Because apparently he's in Canadian time. Why are you awake at 4 a.m. Canadian time? You don't plan on staying up, you will fall asleep. Hey, I've managed to do it before. Just, I can't do it successfully very frequently. You woke up at midnight? Okay, fair enough. It says 3. Yes, it got read out to me when I couldn't see it. That's why I didn't hear it properly. Glad to be a little jackass. Now you're all good. Clear all the channel points. There should be a button to clear them all. Oh, I just did. I've already done it, I think. Yeah, they're all cleared. Why am I awake at 4 a.m. Texas time? Real. I don't want to be awake right now, but I am. But I am. Just for you guys. Oh shit, wait. Oh, I got confused. I was like, why is there 2? You went to bed at 3 p.m? That's so real. Refunding that many points? Yeah, no, it would take so long to refund 8,000 channel point redemptions. I know what I'm doing. I don't know, I was gonna take the day off and then I was like, I'll feel better if I stream, like, I'll feel like ass if I don't. So, even if it's just a short, like, hour, couple of hours, I figured it's better if I do it than don't. Because if I don't, then I feel like a failure, so it makes me feel worse in the long run. Oh shit. Oh, we evolve it, hold on. Oh, I'm gonna... Do I have food? Is it obvious that I haven't paid much attention to this save, like, at all? Because I don't think I have food.
I spent 6 hours drinking yesterday.
6 hours? What was you drinking? What did you have? I'm gonna make a hoe and I'm going to get some wheat seeds. So I can get some wheat and make some bread. Because this ain't it. Have I got any? Yes, I do. Any sticks? Any stick? I can make a stick. I make sticks. But yeah, I'm here, I'm stream, I'm be good streamer, stick to schedule. just be a champ, you know? Actually, can I just break grass for the seeds? Thank you for the 3 stream streak, Reverie. Hey, how you doing? I hope you're doing good. Egg boy? I'm not a fucking boy. Where you get boy from? I'm an egg girl. It's right that one day I'd be here before 8 a.m. You did. You managed. Good job. I'm proud of you. Computer is fried? What's going on with it? What happened to it? It's coming up with random Pokemon merch ideas earlier. Ooh, what did you come up with? Not that Pokemon would ever let you do that, but I'm curious as to what you came up with. Be used for hand holding. Yeah, you don't want to get pregnant through hand holding. You gotta put a condom on your hand first. Apple cider and Jack Daniels. Nice. Probably alcohol. Thank you, Blunder. I appreciate you. You're a wonderful bean. Being able to load a window and the entire PC freezes. Why is it doing that? It's not old enough to be warranting that amount of freezing. Totodile popcorn bucket? Fuck yeah. I'd eat 10 out of 10, I'd eat popcorn out of it. I know it doesn't make me a bad streamer, it just like, in my mind, I'm like, must stream. So even if it's like a short stream, it's a stream nonetheless. Angie Sable. Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again? Honestly, top tier advice for anything technology related, because it'll probably fix it. Bacon sausage pizza! That sounds yummy. That sounds so good. It's like meat lovers, but with not quite as much meat. What kind of sauce? Has it just got the regular, like, marinara tomato sauce, or is it, like, barbecue sauce? BBQ. It's been like that for a week. Are you able to reach out, to the place you got the PC from and maybe, like, see if they have any suggestions for you? Because it's not old enough for it to be freezing consistently. Snorlax cookie jar? Why doesn't that exist? It fucking should. Snorlax would be a perfect
Chat is
cookie
making
jar.
me hungry.
Do you want a cookie, Tiny? I would like a cookie. If someone could make some cookies and bring me a cookie, that would be fantastic. There is limited sweet treats in the house right now because we haven't gone shopping. Actually, if someone could bring me a Pepsi Max, that would be goated. Because we've got no soft drink in the house and I'm having withdrawals. Brownie cookies! That's like two of my favorite things mixed into one. I love brownies and I love cookies. You had a sandwich for dinner, toast with mayo, scrambled eggs, and sprouts. Nice, yummy. Garlic sauce and stuff they dip into as well. Garlic sauce is so yummy. That's so tasty. I would love a brownie cookie.
I would definitely bring you
personally.
a cookie and Pepsi if I lived closer.
I would love a brownie cookie. Pro life tip, don't keep your computer on 24/7. I mean, I've been doing that a little bit for like AFKing and Roblox, I won't lie, but like, I make sure I turn it off every now and again and, you know, give it a break. I'm not that evil to my computer. Actually, I want a larger flat place. This is not large enough. What about here? Robok. Girlfriend implies the existence of girl foe. Maybe you do have girl foes. Do you have any girl foes? Okay, I'm gonna piss. Where's my shovel? Let me clear this. This doesn't need to be here, really. Except, it's gonna look a little goofy because my house is on that pile of dirt, but we'll fix that in a second.
What about a Snorlax sleeping cap and pajama set?
Yeah, I mean, I've got Snorlax, like, there's Snorlax on them. It's like a not today shirt. It's a pajama shirt that I wear a lot. But it's not like actually Snorlax, you know, like, imagine, like, you know, Snorlax onesie, but not a onesie. Snorlax coloured shirt and pants. With a hat
sleeping
with
bag.
ears on it. Gyarados sleeping bag? That would be so cool. It would be lonk. Okay, we get bucket. So I can get some water. Water. Ranga is my Golfo mortal enemy. Damn, am I that bad? RIP HP laptop, I hibernated for years. It's okay, it had a good run. Pepperoni they put in the box because you were hungry? Pepperoni. You're wanting to beat the shit out of the computer. Maybe give it a slight beating. Not too much, just a slight one. You got a pissing mod? I am the pissing mod.
Me and my friend played Monopoly while drinking. Was fun.
Yo. Did you go bankrupt? That's how I play Monopoly. I run out of money. It's like real life.
Pepperoncini, not pepperoni.
Oh, pepperoncini. What the fuck is that? Is it pepperoni and fettuccine? I was trying to think of anything that ends in chini. Peppercini thing. What is a chini? You have to be my mortal enemy. You're an Australian. You have not offered me a single sugar glider. Those are protected. I cannot offer you a sugar glider. You cannot have one. Actually, no, there are people that do keep them as pets, but I don't think they're all Australian. I don't think they're supposed to be kept as pets. Some people do. It's a pepper thing. Oh, so it's not a meat? It's not meat? I thought it was a meat. They went bankrupt, so you won! Yippee! Wait, I must already have a bucket, because... Oh. I poured water on that. Who knows where it is? Who cares? Now I got 2 buckets.
I had 3 color sets and a railroad. They had literally everything else.
My mom! How did they go bankrupt then? How did you win with so much less than them? Damn, they real bad with their money. Oh, okay, so my Twitch alerts aren't working. That's Pog. Thank you so much for the follow, S-Dog. Welcome in. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Apologies for the alert not alerting. Well, at least I didn't hear it. If everyone else did, that's Pog, but I didn't. Big farm. Big farm. It did work? Okay, it didn't work on my end. That's all good. No, my OBS is just being arse. It had a problem before I started stream where I couldn't hear anything. And I checked everything else except alerts and could hear all of those. But I don't think I can hear alerts. So, yeah. I'm just accepting it. I can't be fucked to try and fix it, honestly. Today's not the day for that. I think only you thought it was- well, it sounded like pepperoni! Hop Pip do just be flying, yeah.
I hate that Nintendo are such assholes. I want
Real.
Sable to have reversible jacket with Sableye and Mimikyu on the inside and outside.
I mean, there are people that still make Pokemon merch that don't seem to get in trouble. Or at least Nintendo hasn't found out yet, or some shit. I feel like I need to bring this, like, one this way. So, I mean, could always make it. Haven't had dinner? Have some dinner, Sable! Eat some food. Salametti? What's salametti? Is it anything like salami? Today I learnt that a pepperoncini or whatever the fuck, pepperoncini is not anything like pepperoni, so you're gonna tell me that salamiti is like fucking a vegetable or something. Bought houses, you had hotels. Oh yeah, the houses and hotels will win you the game. Just Twitch being stinky. Could be Twitch or it could be your internet. Who the fuck knows, honestly. Fuck everything. Delay smelly. How did I manage this? It's too famous to make it and get away with it. I was gonna say, I'm only like, so 64 followers off of 1,000, Maxine. I was waiting for him. Zeph, make food. My stummy hurt. Oh no. What's a Tim Hortons? I've never heard of Tim Hortons before. Not steakhouse. We have Starbucks and McDonald's though. Get a sandwich. Everyone make sure you eat it or I'll beat you up. What a Red Lobster or steakhouse. Yeah, we don't have either of those. Yeah, none of those here. Don't want people claiming it as official. Yeah, I think as long as you don't like try and pass it off as official merch, you might be fine. I think. Actually 65. Actually, how about suck math? Suck my mathematics. Suck my mathematical dick. This is too much, I fear, but I don't care. I want food! I want bread, bitch! I need bread! And then, some of y'all will remember from like a week and a half ago that last time I played this, I was on the hunt for a swine up for King that I never found. in like 6 hours. So once I have my food, guess what we're doing? We're gonna go find us. We're gonna go find us one. Little round pig boy that turns into a mammoth for some reason. Someone's gonna be like, actually, he's species. What's up, Xbox? I'm doing pretty good today. I'm a little tired, but I'm hanging in there. How are you doing? Donald sang a McMuffin with bacon? Here at Australia, actually, Xbox, I don't know if you're Australian. You're giving Australian with the word sanger. But McDonald's here has just recently brought out a new breakfast wrap. They previously haven't done breakfast wraps, at least not for a very long time. And I was so excited until I realized it had absolutely nothing on the Hungry Jack's Brekkie wraps. Like, all it has in it is a hash brown, bacon, and egg. And I'm like, I could go to Hungry Jack's and get a fucking sausage muffin, like a sausage patty in there as well. 2 sausage patties, I think. And fucking cheese and all that good shit, barbecue sauce. That shit bussin'. Is McDonald's even trying at this point? Are they even trying? I was like, I'm not going to get your breakfast wrap. I'm going to Hungry Jack's. I don't care if it's a bit more expensive. They're wrapped better. But those chicken McMuffins, though. Those chicken and bacon McMuffins, though. Those bitches slap. Those are so good. If you haven't tried those, please try them. They are so yummy. They do, the McChicken just tastes so different on a on like a muffin, the English muffin, than what it does in a bun. I don't know how to explain it. It's just got a completely different flavor, and it's so good. Especially with the bacon. Bacon. So you are my What is a Tim Hortons? Help. You found many in your world. It's because you're in a snow biome. Yeah, I think if I bring up my map, I mean, there's a snow biome over there, but I think I opened the little finder thing that I have, and there was no, like,
shaped wireless charger.
That's smart. There was no, silhouette for Swinub. So I don't think Jagged Peaks is where he spawns. I might check them again, or I honestly might just head in a completely different direction. Who the fuck knows? I'll make that decision when I get there. Found them in Snowy Taiga? Okay, I don't think I found any of that biome in my very extensive exploration. Where the fuck is the snow? There's this, which is snowy slopes and more jagged peaks. Because, like, what the fuck is this? It's all just green. Do you want some green? I got some green. What the fuck I was doing here.
Bunnings singers are the best.
Bunnings singers, yeah, sausage sanger. They're so yummy. I remember, because someone said it's almost a penis, so I'm gonna make the other bowl and go up this way, and then I'm gonna make a penis in my exploration. Burger King. Oh yeah, it's Burger King. It's literally just Australian Burger King, because Burger King came to Australia, and there was this small family-owned business called Burger King already here, and they won the lawsuit. So Burger King had to change their name, and now they're Hungry Jack's. Have A&W the drink? I think
you like
so.
penis,
never had
don't
it.
You?
Baby Mammoth. Yeah, he's Baby Mammoth. Like penis. Yes. Is that an insult? Is liking penis an insult now? Hello, Shadow. How you doing? I hope you're doing good today. It's the only pseudo-legendary I can think of that's not dragon type. I'm not mad, I swear. But dragon types make good pseudo-legendaries. It's a supercomputer, so electronics is perfect for him. Yeah. Has the best breakfast wrap. Tim Hortons. Bring them here, and then we'll talk. Oh, it's root beer. I think we can get it from specialty shops. Actually, maybe we have an international section in our supermarkets like Coles and Woolies that might have it. Never had it before though. Yeah, we don't have the restaurant, but you can find the drink
No,
here
you
somewhere.
just wanted to make a penis, you said.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, penises are a funny shape. Of course I want to make a dick. Have you not seen my Gaycraft world where I literally drew a dick in chalk out the front of my house? Second biggest burger chain in Canada? Damn! I mean, I love a good burger. And honestly, if they're that big, they probably make some bussin' ass burgers. Been a while. You're on the third shift now, so you might be able to sleep. Oh, heck yeah! That's all. It's all good that it's been a while, Shadow. It's good to see you again. I hope you've been well. USA and W restaurants are worse or... Oh, they're not the same? Bruh.
I need that dick drawing.
I need that dick drawing. You'll have to come back. You'll have to be here on a stream where I'm doing Gaycraft, which isn't going to be for a while. At least the next 30 days, because as of Sunday, I'm going to be part of a VTuber one-shot SMP, which every stream for the next month is going to be on that server. So Gaycraft's going to be on the back burner for a while, but that means I can catch up on making more of the long-form YouTube videos because I'm very behind. I'm working on the second episode now. I've cut up the 4.5-hour long VOD, and I'm working on the script now, and then I need to do the voiceover and, like, the funny edits, and then it'll be done. So I'm hoping, like, you know, maybe get that done by mid-next week at the latest.
Can I ask a question?
Scared, but yes. Strawberry! Hello, Jorbs. Hello, how you doing today? I hope you're doing well.
Are you single?
No, I'm not. I have a fiancé. Odd question, though, but I am not. I can't remember. Oh, Jinra. Oh, you're talking about the soju brand. Yeah, I don't drink, so believe Sable. Honestly, strawberry flavored anything is probably bussin' as fuck.
Dang, worth a shot.
I mean, I would not
too, have a question.
Even if I wasn't single, I doubt I would ever date a viewer. That's just me, though. What is your question, King? Bum! I love that Snorlax emote. He's got such a juicy dumpy. I've heard Five Guys is really good. And I hope that all of these, like, really good American burger chains, they eventually do bring to Australia, because that's one of the only reasons I would ever be inclined to go to America, is to try some of these, like, chains that are exclusive there that everyone raves about. Because I feel like I'm missing out.
Australian animal?
Echidnas. Echidnas are my favorite. I love them so much. They're like hedgehogs, but different. I love them. Little spiky friends. I also really love platypussies, platypi. You know, however.
Why not kangaroos? I've always wanted a professional merchandise kit so I can make custom tops, femboy shorts, body pillows, or stuff like vinyl posters and stickers, or mugs. I'd love to make cool stuffs for you and Samble cause you amazing less than 3.
That would be so cool, Maxine! I would love that. Merchandise kit, that's so fun. Wait, Five Guys is in Melbourne and IHOP? Okay, well I know where I'm going next time I'm in Victoria. Luckily, my dad lives down there, so, like, I've got a reason to be down there and I've got somewhere to stay. I will be going to IHOP and Five Guys. Especially IHOP, because fuck, man, I love me some pancakes. Less than 3! Yeah, Tubington doesn't know what a heart is, unfortunately. They're not like hedgehogs! I mean, they're spiky like hedgehogs, but they're cuter than hedgehogs. I love them. They're babies. Why not kangaroos? I love kangaroos. There's so many of them. Like, they're so common. You see them everywhere. Like, I think that's why I like platypuses and echidnas a lot, because you don't see them very often. It's not, they're not animals that you see frequently. They don't populate areas that are super, like, covered by humans. So you'll only really see them if you, like, go travel inland. It's great. Doesn't love roos? I love roos! They're great. Especially red kangaroos, because they're the bigger ones. They're also super soft and fluffy. But they get huge. They get, like, 8 feet tall. They're gigantic. I love them. If you ever get Five Guys and want a lot of fries but think large isn't enough, large is more than enough. Oh no, I would think that large would be enough. I would be scared to order anything more than that. Bruce of roadkill! I mean, they do get hit by a lot of cars and trucks, unfortunately, because they are, like, there's a lot of them. And they, like, generally live in areas that are super densely populated by humans as well. Like, they don't really give a shit about there being a residential area nearby. If there's a big field with grass in it, they'll be there. They're there. They are also stupid. Yeah, I'll give you that. They're also dumb as fuck. You will honk to get them off the road, and then they will jump into the middle of the road, like, right in front of your car. Like, if you see one on the side of the road, you need to be going, like, real slow, because they will jump in front of your car. But poor, one day, Maxine, one day. Hope you're not allergic to peanuts. I am not allergic to peanuts. I don't have any allergies that I know of, except maybe to a certain type of sunscreen. Like, I have sensitive skin, but that's about it. They don't fuck up your cars? Oh no, they do. They will ride up they will ride off a car. Absolutely. If you hit it fast enough. Kidners, if a hedgehog and platypus fucked. Exactly, Maxine, exactly. What, jump up your car? Order 2 large fries, it's £2. What the fuck? That's a lot of fries. That means that, like, each serving of fries is 500 grams. That is so much. That is so much food. Who needs that many fries with a burger? Don't fall for the propaganda. We have the same massive serving sizes as the US. Yeah, everyone's blaming the US, and Canada's just over there like, not us though. No, not us though. Definitely not us. Yeah, that's crazy. That is a crazy amount of food. There's not many places that I can think of here in Australia that does serving sizes that big. Canada is also a war criminal. What? Canada's just being Canada. Oh no, y'all are weird up there. I'm gonna stick with my Australia, thank you. I'm gonna just stay down here. No, honestly, real talk, if I ever do have the money, I probably will go to, like, America or Canada one day, because, you know, just to explore, just to see other parts of the world. I just want to know, okay? Okay, here's food. This guy's getting turned into food, because I want to be able to run, and my wheat is taking a very long time. Canada invented a lot of them! Imagine inventing a war crime. They're the reason most war crimes are war crimes. That's scary. What have y'all been doing? Hello there, Makala. How you doing? Welcome in. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for the check-in and the hydrate. We were asked to airdrop the wolves! Fried serving size seem normal in the UK. Yeah, they might have changed the serving size when they brought it to different countries, because yeah, typically serving sizes that big are not found here. Were you trying for a pacifist run? Newfoundland or BC? Didn't know wolves could travel through Wi-Fi signals? I mean, is an airdrop... I don't know if you're being legit, Sable, but is an airdrop not, like, dropping wolves out of a plane? I'll unzip your spine! We've put explosives in rations for enemies. Okay, that's fucked up. That's really fucked up. You were joking? Oh, okay. If you're one of my Canadians, it's so nice. It's overcompensating for their crimes. Hey, at least they learned, you know. Now they're just hanging out saying sorry to everyone. That's why they say sorry so much. Because they're apologizing for their past. I really need bone meal. But there's no skeletons. Because I turned off mob sports. So, I don't know what a bone meal is. I guess I just sit here and fucking wait. Why does it have to take so long? Tired and unhappy, real. Don't go to Newfoundland, the Newfies accents are so thick even we can't understand them. That's wild. They apologize till you involve them in a war. Let's just not do that then. Oh, this poor Vivillon. Poor butterfly. Wait, you might survive yet. Oh, he survived! Let's go! He lives to see another day. Composter. Oh, yeah! I forgot about those. How do I make them again? Comp. Just wooden slab. And then, you bitch ass. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We got more wood. It's alright. If it doesn't let me do 2 different types, I'm gonna piss. I might pee in someone's cereal. I'm just warning you. It might happen. Yeah, that's what I thought. No cereal piss today. Okay, now what to put in it? Do I have any shears? Put leaves in it. I'm gonna put leaves in it. Tree leaf. Can I be like, sorry we invented war crimes, ooh. Sorry we've been out of the game so long. Q-bones should give bones when you defeat them. Oh, honestly they might. They might actually. I don't think I've seen any Q-bones spawn in this area. So I'd have to go somewhere else. Give me the fucking leaf! Naked tree. Naked. You'll bone me! Not me! Composter, give bone meal. Hello, Lime! How you doing today? Welcome in. I hope you're doing well. We have fields. That's about it. I mean, I like a good field. I like a good field as much as the next person. Fergie, what are you clipping? What did I do? Did I just be me? You know what? I was just being me.
Also, giving bones when you reunite it with its mother is messed up.
Hey, but I'm doing a good thing. I'm reuniting him with his mom. I can't get that last one. Oh shit. Oh shit. That's a lot of leaf. Could probably put that in there as well. Leaf. Fuck the dirt for a second. Me want bone. Oh, Lime, I'm sorry to hear that. I really hope it gets better. Big hugs. Big hugs for you, Lime. I'm tired. I'm tired. I fucked up my sleeping schedule real bad and have had to try and fix it. And it's going. I guess. Like, I'm definitely gonna be sleeping at a normal time tonight because holy shit, I want bed. But like, yeah. Don't fuck the dirt. Why not? Give me one good reason. Why not? Cubones are in deserts? That would make sense. That would make sense, Jorbs. Just yapping. That is just me. But out of context most YouTube videos. Thank you, Froki. I appreciate you. I appreciate anyone that makes clippies. Makes it easier for me to do editing and stuff and make videos. We're on a salted Lime with hellos because we all love Lime. Thank you for Bean. I'm Bean. Does anyone need a bean today? Does anyone need a bean today? I have become Bean. Just for you guys. Okay, there's one wheat. Aww. Gaycraft spoiled me. I expected it to just regrow. But I gotta plant it myself. Woe is me. Is that a Snorlax behind you? That is a Snorlax behind me. Usually he is like sitting just under my hand, but with this particular model, which has just been redeemed, he's a little out of the picture. He's my text-to-speech pet. His name is Sir Tubbington Chonks-a-lot. I love him so much. Snorlax is my favorite. Welcome in, Outcast. I hope you're doing well today. Do you like Snorlax too? Why is this more endowed than who's endowed? On my titties? Well, unfortunately this one doesn't have a titty window redeem, but you can thank Sable for drawing this bean and how well endowed she is. Cobblemon SMP when? When I have money, Freaky. Get yourself all dirty down there if you fuck the dirt. Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. I don't really like being dirty, personally. Thank you for the follow, Outcast. I hope you have a wonderful time here. Where... Do I have an axe? Have I ever had an axe? How do I not... I could just be blind. It could be that, but, like... I don't think so. Gotta make windows. I forgot windows. Yeah. One here. Window. Hell yeah, let's go. We love you, Lime. Yeah, if you want to talk, feel free to DM me and we can have a chat. If you don't want to talk about it, that's okay. I just want you to be okay, Lime. Should have guessed Booba is your jingle word. Snorlax is your favorite? I didn't notice that, Maxine. I'll beat you up. Love Snorlax. You got a backpack? A Snorlax backpack? I'm so jealous. I don't. I want a Snorlax backpack. You know what I do have? I have a Snorlax, like, handbag. I need to get it fixed because part of it, like, broke. Like, part of the leather broke and I don't want it to completely fall apart. So I keep meaning to go and get it, like, properly fixed at, like, a, Leatherworks place or something. But I need money to do that, so I haven't done it yet. Because then I can have this Snorlax handbag, and I love him. It's him face. It's very cute. Is that symmetrical? Oh! Symmetry. Fuck, I love symmetry. Skinned a Snorlax and made a backpack out of him? Yeah, that's exactly what happened, King. Especially not being dirty below the belt, not fun. Yeah, you right. You right. Can't you just use Essential mod? I honestly don't know, Froakie. I couldn't answer you. That's only when you're online. Oh, okay. See, Sable can answer you. I cannot, because I'm silly. Silly Goofy. I know only be Goofy. Okay, this back window probably isn't going to be symmetrical because bird. And I'm gonna do a little window here as well. I'm very quickly running out of glass. Ground height! You know what? That's good. That's letting in enough natural light. Proud of myself for actually having finished the roof. We're lucky to have you, Lime. That was not finished growing. I'm gonna piss. Okay, time to shear some more trees. Time to nakey some more trees. For bone meal. Made a chart of all your favorite Pokemon, but Snorlax didn't make the cut? Rude. Rude. How could you not love the big, goofy, chunky boy? He is the best big, goofy, chunky boy. Name and place of whoever made you sad. Exactly. We'll throw hands, Lime. Company that sells a backpack of Snorlax with the original. I'm gonna make note of that. It's not limited time or anything, because that's gonna have to be a purchase, that I make when I actually have some spare cash sitting around, because that rarely happens. Mood when living paycheck to paycheck. Just want to use Snorlax's tum as a trampoline. I want to use that as a bed. I want to lay on it. I think it would be so comfy. Come here, leaf. Thank you. There's just one leaf on the top. This is what my trees look like. They look like torches! Matchstick trees. Oh, that one's okay. I won't fuck that one up. It's got a beehive on it. I gotta be nice to the bees. No! My shit is fucking broke. Chart of all your fave Pokemon. The list are as follows. Swinub is best Pokemon. Real. Backpack idea. Snorlax backpack that's not just Snorlax themed, but Snorlax shaped. Exactly. Exactly. Original edition is not limited edition. Still up to this day? Hell yeah. As much as I love limited edition stuff, because it's cool as fuck, if I don't have the money right then and there, I will get FOMO. Let me explain. Does food not tell you what it has inside it when you buy it? I mean, it should. Especially here, our food. Usually we're pretty good at labeling our stuff. Says pork gyoza and doesn't mention the cabbage and onion until you look at the tiny ingredient. Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I think pork gyoza tends to, like, there's not many places you get pork gyoza from that doesn't have, onion and cabbage in it, I don't think. I think that's like a pretty stock standard gyoza ingredient. From memory. Hugging a Snorlax would be so comforting. He would be so good to hug. That's why he's my favorite, because he's just so huggable and, like, he looks so comfy to lay on. I love hymns. Haven't you had gyoza before, Sable? Hello, Hemorrhoid. He's alive. He's alive. Hello. Solex didn't make the cut, but Munchlax did? Okay. Okay, you're forgiven, Talia. You're forgiven. Why is Alexa playing music right now? Snorlax backpack for Ranger and Mimble backpack for Sable. Yippee! Didn't have cabbage onion stuff in it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they do just make theirs differently. I'm sorry, Sable. Get Zeph to go out and get you something. You gotta eat. Alexa! Shut the fuck up!
Alexa! Shut up!
She just randomly started playing Henry's Spotify playlist. We didn't ask her to. No one even mentioned her. Do you like pork buns? I think I've had pork buns before. I do like them. They're yummy. Gonna get Mackies after I nom good. So you didn't want him to? Well, you need to eat, so you don't get a choice. Sorry. King says morning. Best boy Typhlosion. He would be warm. The ever sexy Hems. Yeah, he is. Put those seeds away. Have I got enough? Did I make 3 loaves of bread? That'll do for a while, right? Right? Activated mind, sorry! I'm sorry, but also not sorry, it's funny. I always find it hilarious when, like, someone, like, watches a streamer and they activate their AI assistant. I think it funny. I think it funny, haha. Oh, is that done as well? Gib. Why does it give you more? I guess, actually, that does make sense, because if you start with just 1 wheat, and then you grow the wheat, and it gives you multiple seeds, then you grow more wheat. So you know what? That's smart, to be
Okay,
honest.
Google, tell Emmy 5 whale facts.
5 whale facts!
Okay, Google, add condoms to my shopping list.
Alexa, add condoms to my shopping list. She added it to mine. Yeah, if you don't have condoms on your shopping list, what you doing? Do you not want to be protected? Brain did a smart for months to use Mimble's head for backpack rather than body? Yeah! Mimble head backpack would be so cute. Sorry, I'm having trouble. I hate that. It makes me so infuriated when I ask her something and her response is, sorry, I don't know how to help you with that. And I'm like, is that not your whole fucking purpose, is to know how to help me with things? Do you want my earbuds? The whole family can hear me talking about condoms. You have a softball bat for that? Put a condom on the softball bat. It makes it more effective. Source, trust me. I'd be going like I am for life. Raw. Did it again. Good. That's the point. He's like, I could put medicinal leeks in the compost. Probably. I don't want to, though. Just in case I need them. About flowers. Put flowers in the composter. Compost the flowers! Let's delete that! Why? What if someone needed to remember to buy condoms? What if you just made someone pregnant by doing that? How would you feel? Okay, fuck it. We ball. 3 loaves of bread. We're good, right?
Alexa, give me 5 fun facts about the oarfish.
Oarfish! Oh, yo, that's a combuskin. That's rare. That's rare as shit. Come here. Okay. Where's my thingy? It's this thing, right? No, it's not that thing. It's this one. Get in the bowl. Do you kill animals for food? Because I don't want to kill the Pokemon, and there's not very many animals in the area. I killed a cow before, but most of them are just Pokemon. Like, Taurus. There's a pig over there. Or a fish! Condom, because I'm convinced it'll crawl from my asshole into my uterus and spawn a baby. Honestly, valid fear. They're too close together. Like, what if it does? What if it fucking osmosises through the taint? Is that what it's called? Make cow breeding hole again. Oh, you're so right. Hold on, let's do that. Let's make a breeding hole. So then I can have infinite food. This spot'll do. Ranger, disappointed. Thank you for clarifying the tone that you said my name in. I appreciate that. Taters between butthole and penis. Okay, well, what's between butthole and vagina? What's that called? Whatever that word is. Osmosis between that. A very disturbing thought. Yes. Yes, it is. Is that a big enough breeding hole? I feel like it'll get the job done. Where's my wheat? Cows! Ring-a-ding-ding, cows! Actually, you know what? A pig will probably do just as good. And I can see 2 pigs. And a sheep. What if I have a mixed breeding hole? Interspecies breeding hole. Come on, piggy, come on. Wait, they use carrots, don't they? Oh no, wait, he's coming. He's coming. He just took a minute, it's okay. Hey! Wait, am I stupid? Is it carrots?
Yes.
Oh. Henry, I'll shit on you. I don't have any carrots! Cows! Cows! I got wheat for you! Please don't say ass and pussy too close together. I saw a nice guy who was like, this pussy and asshole are too close together, they should feel ashamed, and therefore... Surely that was satire, because if that person exists, they need to stop existing. Their mother should have swallowed them. Anyway, cows! I found one! I found 2! You're a perennium. Actually, I think perennium is like the scientific term. Gooch! Tickle your gooch. Mods, tickle this guy's gooch. Come on. Oh, the sheep's coming as well. You know what? As I said, interspecies breeding hole. Whatever works. You know what I just realized? I've been listening to music this entire time, but I didn't set it up on OBS. I'm gonna find a bridge in Minecraft. Where the fuck is my Spotify? I do this every time. There we go. Now you guys can have music as well. Unless you can't hear it, in which case, honestly, that's probably the case. Come back here! Welcome back, Talia. Welcome back from jail. People do use taint for vag as well. Yay, I was right! I was right for once in my whole life. This is so epic. I didn't notice there wasn't deafening silence. Don't question the walking fedora. See, this is why we need chat condoms. For people like that. One of the sheep just forgot that the wheat existed. You guys get in the breeding hole, please. Just fall in. Just fall in. Fall in. Fall in. Fall in. They're not as stupid as I thought they were. I'm gonna have to climb in there. Go on. Go on. In you go. In you go. Good cow. Good sheep. Okay, where's the one that we left behind? Where did he go? Did he fly? Okay, never mind, I found him. It's okay. Come here. Come on. In Minecraft, right? Yeah. Yeah, in Minecraft. Voices, vibes. Lime, you're so sweet. Glad no one noticed. Now you can have music. I've stopped withholding the music. He thought the ideal way to pick up women was to literally pick them up, grabbing them by the... Why? Did they get expelled or something? Because that feels like the appropriate response to that. In the hole. In you go. Come on. It's time to fuck. I have two wheat, so we can make a single cow. Yeah, the parrots and the bats! It's not the birds and the bees anymore, guys. It's the parrots and the bats. I need that. I need that back. Do you browse r/nice guys a lot? Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Okay, I won't start committing murder just yet. We must wait until they groge. Do you want seeds? I got seeds. No, that's for chickens. I should put chickens in there. They just breed with seeds, right? That's so much easier. Where's the chickens? Chicken. Sheep fall down. Thank you for that pet, Slime. He did, however, get his shit kicked in. Good. Deserved. X love that, but that last part? No, exactly. Yeah, the picking up, maybe. Like, you know, princess hold and all that shit. Yeah, okay, I can get down with that. But don't grab me by the pussy. Please. Not without consent. That's rude. That was before bees, so it's the parrots and the bats. Ah, that's smart. Real, Talia. Real. Sometimes violence is the answer. Because it's the only way people learn. Come on, chickens. Look at all these chickens. Come on. Come on. If I move too far away from them, they fail object permanence and just forget that food exists. It's the question! Violence? Do you need violence? The answer is yes. Hello, Pillow. We are violence-loving gamers. Violence in Minecraft. How you doing today, Pillow? I hope you're doing good. What's dying? Oh, a Meowth. We'll survive without the Meowth, I think. Get in there. Fuck! Come on. Make baby. Pillow, we got breeding pit 2.0, except this time it's an interspecies breeding pit. How exciting, right? No! No! Okay, we're good. Get in the hole, get in the hole, get in the hole. Get in the hole. There we go, we're fine. Everything's A-okay, everything is under control. I need the brain cell right now, guys. I'm live. You can have it back when I end stream. God. You need to share. It's a what? An interspecies breeding pit. See, there's cows, there's sheep, and there's chickens. And I make them fuck. And they create more of themselves, and then I have food. It's great. Chucked them over my shoulder, they really did like that. Hell yeah, be carried. Uppies. Can I has uppies? Says it's my turn on the brain cell! Well, Mom is wrong! Need a drink. They didn't like it? Oh. I mean, I'd kinda like that, cause uppies. Henry, can I have uppies? No, you just hurt me with the way you picked me up.
Do you remember the time I carried you all the way from the car park to Mandy's house?
Yeah. But that's a piggyback. That's not uppies. I want uppies like baby. Henley. Are you an interspecies reviewer? What does that mean? Chat wants uppies. He's going gym so that he can give us all uppies. At once. All of us at once. Gonna spend some time with Mama Lime. Enjoy. Enjoy, Lime. I hope you have a good night. Watching Offline Love? I've never heard of it. I hope it's good. Would you recommend? Netflix Rec? 104 pounds won't be too hard. Just baby. Just baby. Get factored. I'm taller than Henry. I'll give you uppies. Ultimate uppies! Henry, can Maxine give me uppies? Maxine can give me uppies, yay! I'll have you know, Maxine, I'm a little thicker than 104 pounds. You might want to, like, double that. Maybe, I don't know what I am in pounds. I don't know how that shit works. Wait, there's egg. Wait, they've laid egg. Do they lay egg instead of pissing out a baby? No, they did piss out a baby. It's right there. I'll tell you about it later. Thank you, Live. Enjoy your night. You forgot to put water in the coffee pot? No! Please tell me you didn't start a fire or anything. Or, like, completely ruin the coffee pot. Don't do pounds, I do kilos. I don't want to say my exact weight. Just know that I'm a little thicker. I'm a little thick in the middle, you know? Not too thick, just thick. Yummy thick. This out of baby Reagan doesn't understand how babies work. I mean, it still come out the coochie, right? Out the urethra! I need to go and find this fucking swine up. I just want enough food to take with me. Okay, I can make another bread. And I can find meat while I'm out. It'll be fine. This will be enough. I am gonna take some stuff out of my inventory though, because this sure is a lot. I'm gonna need another gimme ghoul chest. Not enough space. Gonna keep the wood. I'm gonna put those in there. I'm gonna keep the furnace. I'm gonna keep the boat. Those can go in there. Keep the stone. That can go in there. Bucket. Yeah, no, we good. Perfect. Let's go. That's so little, King. That's so few kilogram. I don't think I've weighed that. I haven't weighed anything even close to that since I was about 7. If that. Just baby. Best friend in primary school, he thought babies come from the ass! You shit out the baby! Everything smells weird, gonna run it with water again, I hope it doesn't just explode. Good luck, Pillow, I hope it goes well and doesn't explode, because that would be very bad and would probably scare the bubbies. And that would be not good. That would be not good. Literally grab you by the ankles and spin you like a helicopter. Could you get air? Could you get some air time, Maxine? Nah, no judgy here, King. Everyone has their own struggles with their body and what their body does. Some people can't gain weight as easily as other people. Some people can't lose weight as easily as other people. I'm one of those people. Losing weight is hard as shit. I haven't found a belt that fits in years? Damn. That'd be really tough. Like, as someone that struggles with weight loss, and usually I'm on the other end of the spectrum where I have to find bigger clothes because I can still buy from most regular clothing chains here in Australia, but sometimes they have very limited bigger sizes, and if other people have already bought them, they won't have any, like they get less of the bigger sizes in. So that's where the trouble comes in, is that it's like, do they have it or will they have run out? Insanely fast metabolism, yeah. Having a very, I think it's, isn't it hyperthyroidism or something is a really fast metabolism? How am I getting hungry so fast? Hello? Bruh. That, okay. This is not gonna be enough bread, but you know what? It'll be fine. Need 2 kings to make a proper lift. Yeah, losing weight is hard and takes a lot of dedication and discipline, and I don't have either of those things. Slow metabolism, you had to stop eating entirely to lose weight. That's what I keep saying to people, and I keep saying to doctors. Like, the only time I've noticed any, like, significant weight loss, was when I did not eat anything. So, like, if I was so sick I couldn't eat. Or if I just restricted myself that much to not eating barely anything throughout the day. Like, otherwise, it's very difficult. Drop to 90. Oh my god. Oh. Why? Where's my shovel? Let me out! Thank you. Why am I getting hungry so fast? America POV. Yeah, exactly. Not eating is not a good way to lose weight. It's not sustainable. Hence why I've not been able to, like, lose weight and maintain the weight loss because my shit's just all over the place. Sometimes bodies just be like that, exactly. And metabolism changes over time as well. Like, as you get older, your metabolism changes. That's why you'll notice some people that have always had a really fast metabolism and have always been really skinny will have a little bit of weight gain as they get older because their metabolism slows down a bit. Sometimes it fucking speeds up. God, I wish. Could I just have like a normal metabolism? That would be great. Force food into mouth. You will eat. You will consume the goodness. Okay. Should I make the other testicle first or the shaft? I'm thinking the other testicle. Please don't force food into my mouth. Testy. A single testy. Can someone force food out of my hands? Real? Can someone hide all the food in the house so that I can't eat it? I need someone to cook me, like, specific portions. And hide everything else from me. Give you 12-year-old me metabolism, you'll lose weight in a jiffy. I would love that. Yeah, Talia, I'm with you there. I know I overeat. I know I overdo it, and I probably eat a little bit too much fast food as well for my health, but like, it's like my comfort food, and then also it's easy, it means no one has to cook. Because cooking is hard. And I don't enjoy it. Afraid it's a turn on! Oh, I can find more gimme ghoul! Oh. Oh, hi fella! The last one I found was just a chest. It didn't have anything inside it. Let me just catch you. I just catch the baby. Slumber! Look at you! Slumber! He's so cute! Fast food yummy, fast food easy. Exactly! Fast food workers have to cook? Yeah, and I used to be one of them. I'm entitled to get food cooked for me, thank you very much. He wants to be caught so bad. He wants to come home with me. He wants to be my best friend. Stop! Get in the bowl! You're level 9. You're level 9. I don't want any of this shit right now. Get in. I need to find a swine-up. It is my goal. A delivery sandwich? Yummy. I do like sandwiches a lot. I never used to, but that was because the only sandwiches I ever really ate were the ones that my mum made me for school lunches. And I found out that those were kind of boring sandwiches. They just had like Vegemite on them or something. But as soon as I learnt you could put like meat and sauces and salads, now I love sandwiches. Deli sandwich. How can you deny Slowpoke? I'm not trying to, I want to catch him, but this motherfucker won't get in the bowl. Come here. A level 9 Pokemon should not take this many balls to catch. Thank you. Where do you go? Come here. Catch the pink. He's so little and so slow. That's why he's Slowpoke, because he just ambles along. He be for real. Is this real? Is this real? Okay, no, I want to run. I was hoping there were gonna be more chests, because last time there was a gimme gold chest, and I could just take it. I want it. You struggle with a 9? Exactly. Exactly. That's why I was saying that a level 9 should not take that many balls to catch. Because it fucking shouldn't. Can I hold a torch in my hand? Yay. Now we have light. I'm gonna go around this way. You have Mackey's, yummy. Eat the burgie. Yummy burg. Slowpoke would have friend, exactly. All Pokemon need friend. I'm gonna go kill this pig for food. Oh, there's a group of them, let's go. And some chickens. Oh, we eating good tonight. Oh, they're running away. They saw me murder one of their brethren and they're like, nah, I don't want any of that. Too bad. It's death time. Double quarter pounder. I love double quarter pounders. So meaty and cheesy. Let me chuck that there. I guess we're using wooden planks as fuel. No, you're not, Maxine. Say something nice about yourself right now. Every time you say you're ugly, every time you say something mean about yourself, you gotta say something nice about yourself. Balance it out. The world needs balance, and you are unbalancing it. The McCrispy burgers, the McCrispies are really nice. That's just a half pounder. Actually, yeah, a double quarter pounder is a half pounder because each of the meat patties is a quarter pound, so 2 of them is half a pound, so it's a half a pounder. But that doesn't quite roll off the tongue, does it? You can walk for now. I'll take it. That for now doesn't make it count. No, because sometimes our bodies fail us later on in life, so the for now does... It makes sense. Sometimes our bodies fall apart as we get older. There's not just one, Jay. There's lots of them. There's so many. I can give you a damn! A whole quarter of a pound? Third pounder, but people got mad because they think they're getting less. Yeah, because they're stupid. Because they're fucking stupid. They should have, like, had a diagram of, like, a circle that was cut into 4 pieces and a circle that's cut into 3 to show, like, the size of a third in comparison to a quarter. Then I bet people would have felt stupid. Okay, we have meat. Time to start making a testy. I'm almost at the edge of where I've explored. Bidoof. I jump on him. I drown him. I'm about to call you Max! That's wild. Quarter pounding. Usually help my wife with the not walking parts. Do you carry her? Princess Carrie. In other words, I'll beat you! Beat you up! I'll beat you all up. Rangahan's rated E for everybody. What is it? Is this gonna be like a Pokeball on the ground? I think I've had this happen before, where there's been a little exclamation mark on the map and I've gone towards it. And there's been nothing there. Nothing there. I got jebaited. Anyway, testicles. They make her unable to walk with- oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense, Pillow. My dad could beat up your dad! Is the Caterpie? Why is the Caterpie an exclamation mark? Is it a good Pokemon? Has that hidden- oh! Oh, well, this one's a Pokeball. Oh, Love Ball! That's a pretty ball. Okay, well, I'm not gonna go back and find it. It's a hidden ability, boo-hoo. Someone's probably like, what do you mean, boo-hoo? Max from Stranger Things, that's cute. Dad works at a door company that they rather unfortunately named CP Distributors. They didn't. They didn't. That's not real. That's not real. I refuse to believe that someone made that active decision. Someone needs to- yeah, someone does! Someone needs to be like, hey, do you know what that means? Because maybe they don't even know. Maybe they don't even know. I like to hope that they don't even know and that they haven't got some sort of side business going on there. How long has the company been around, though? Like, I feel like names need to change when there comes a time where they start to mean something else. I wonder what it originally, like, stood for with the company. Maybe, like, the founders' names? Or something. That's really unfortunate. Like, the cheese! Exactly! Exactly. Like, it's a family name, but it also means something else. So, like, you know, you gotta move with the times. If idiots keep making derogatory words, we're gonna have to keep changing names of things. Maybe just stop making shit up and putting words on people and making them slurs. That might be a good idea. Good start. They do know the owner just says they can't change it because of brand recognition? Yikes. Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, that slur is very, very old. Like, I think it would have been around when the company was founded. Which is like, why did you even do that in the first place? Like, knowing. Or his wife, she was talking about my name and was like, have you seen Stranger Things? It's a character called Maxine that goes by Max. And I was like, yeah, that's where I got it from. Aww. I love Stranger Things. Stranger Things is a good show. Based show. Got a warning on TikTok for defending yourself against a guy being a jackass. I got a warning on TikTok and got my comment taken down because I tried to pin a comment to one of my videos saying racist stereotypes will not be appreciated and will be deleted. And that got removed. And I was like, excuse me? So we can't use the word racist now? We can't call out bigots? Okay. Okay, I see you. I haven't posted anything on there since because I just felt so mad. What vid was that on? It was the, do you remember when the four of us played The Binding of Isaac together? And Henry screamed, "Watch out, he's black," because there was one of the explosive enemies. And we were all like, you can't say that! Well, yeah, someone came in and commented exactly what you would expect. So it got deleted, and I tried to put a PSA being like, if you make any racial stereotypes, I'll be deleting your shit. And I even censored the word racist, because initially when I tried to write out any racial stereotypes will be removed, and it just didn't post the comment at all. And I was like, okay, weird, maybe it's the word racial, strange, I guess. So then I put, like, I censored the word racist by using, like, numbers instead of letters, and it still got taken down. And I was like, okay, so we can't call out bigots, got you. So I just haven't posted on there since, because that left a really bad taste in my mouth, I won't lie. All my shorts have been going onto YouTube Shorts. I'm gonna peg him for that! Henry, you're getting pegged. Ugh. Yeah, well, that's what I thought. I'm like, I feel like this is a recent thing that's come about, because I've seen a lot of other people saying that their TikToks are getting censored when they mention any sort of political statement. Like, not even like something offensive, just, you know, calling something racist or calling something sexist. Their shit gets taken down, and I'm like, nah, that's not cool. Not a fan of that. Kind of won't be missed. I mean, I've kind of stopped going on there. I haven't scrolled through TikTok in a while. I've been too busy editing and shit. Get free speech absolutists to look into this. Yeah, it's funny how it's freedom of speech until it's calling out someone for being a bigot. Grabbing the Yao paddle as punishment? I have the perfect meme right now. It's going into memes because you want me to see it. All right, I'll look at it. I'll look right now. The meme chat. What are you using? Censoring the most harmless words. That was literally. Yeah, it changed a lot after the ban. Very much so. Hello, Raiders! Hello, welcome in. Hello, Tarima. How you going? How was stream? What did you get up to in Minecraft? Hello, hello. My name is Rangarath. I go by Ranga. I play a variety of games, but recently it's been a lot of Minecraft. I've been doing a couple of Minecraft series, and I am participating in a 30-day one-shot hardcore SMP from Sunday onwards. So it's gonna be a lot of Minecraft here for the next, like, 30 days. Welcome in, how you doing? Played on a viewer SMP? That sounds like so much fun! Same, let's go! Are you also in the tryhard SMP? That's so epic, thank you so much for raiding into me. I appreciate it. It is! Oh my goodness! Thank you so much for the follows, Retro, Raynog, and Conqueror. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Hope you enjoy your time here. Of course. Well, I'll be seeing you. We'll be like building and stuff together. You went through everyone's profiles and followed. Honestly, I probably should have done that, but I was scared. Thank you so much for the follow, Tarima. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Another Minecrafter has joined. I'm gathering all the Minecrafters. All the Minecraft Infinity Stones. Play the funny clown man card game again, and actually, I did win, Talia! What do you mean? I won that round. I won that entire run. I don't know what you're talking about. Totally wasn't because of chat. They're offline, I'm just scared. And also, I saw that there were a lot of people, and I was like, that's gonna take me a while to sit there and go through. So I was leaving it for another point in time. Minecraft Infinity says, am I the builder? Well, I'm certainly not, that's for sure. Yes, Tarima, if you or anyone from your community needs to raid and run, please feel free to do so. If you need to do some after stream care, all that good stuff, that is all good. I just appreciate the raid. Thank you so much. I'm hyped too. I'm looking forward to it as much as I'm like nervous as well because like I'm not good at this game. So I'm expecting myself to die pretty early on. And also new people scary, but like I'm gonna have a good time. Need to lurk cause homework, but I'll be out of here. That's all good. Thank you so much for the lurk. Good luck with your homework. Look forward to it. I'm scared. We can all be scared together. We'll all look after one another. We'll watch each other's backs and make sure we don't get blown up by creepers. Because that's how I'm gonna die. It's gonna be a creeper. It's a creeper every time. You seen my first Gamecraft build? I think I have. I'm pretty sure you showed it to me. And I remember it being good. You built like a mansion, right? And a baby- oh my god, baby zombies. Baby zombies need to be deleted from the game. Baby zombies and creepers. Petition to delete those two from the game.
I, Sir Tubbington Chonks-a-lot, am the world champion of competitive shitting.
That's why he's so stinky all the time and needs baths. Because he be competitive shitting all the time. He got a stinky butt. This is gonna take longer than I expected. We might only get one testy done today. But we must keep an eye out for snow. Specifically, snowy taiga, hopefully, will be the biome that we find a swinub in, finally. Singular testicle. You had to bring it up again. What other competitive stuff can we do? Competitive gooning. Whoever goons the longest.
Chat, when going to take a shit on the toilet, do you take underwear and pants/shorts down at the same time or one at a time?
That is actually a good question. What do I do? I think I take them both down at the same time. I think. Not many things I'll brag about, but building ability. Yeah, no, you're a good builder. You're a fantastic builder. I'm jealous of your building prowess. Because I just build squares with funny shaped roofs on them. Take my pants off before I walk to the toilet. You take them off before you go to the toilet? You just leave them on the floor in whatever room you were in. You gotta mark your territory. You gotta make sure you come back to exactly the place you were before. Some advice- oh no. Oh, we getting advice. You know what? Hit me with it. Okay. What if I just jumped off this mountain? What if I did that? Public toilets too! Yeah, wherever he is in the shopping center, takes his pants off.
Whoever can info dump about their special interest for longer is declared the winner.
Oh god. There would be some strong competition in this chat. It makes it sure. You gotta remember where you were up to while you were window shopping. Yeah, I was gonna say, Sable's gotta win with his OCs. There's like over a decade of lore there. Like 15 fucking years of lore. I think he's winning. 20! This would be a good competition. Everyone immediately concedes. Sablor, the Sabler, computers go far, true. Sometimes the bathroom is dirty and I'm not letting my underwear touch the dirty floor. Honestly, that's kind of real. Something I don't do is when I go to the toilet, I only take my pants and underwear to my knees. Like, some people have them around their ankles, like the whole thing of getting caught with your pants around your ankles. My underwear and pants are never around my ankles. Ever. Obviously, it's probably different for guys because you're vertical. A fellow Zoid lover? Where is Zeph? Huh? Huh? Fucking hell. Is Zeph's fave thing ever is Zoids? Yeah, it is.
Hey,
do we got this
what's
sister?
up? How we doing? Fantabulous? Maybe amazingly. I would hope so, cause y'all deserve it.
Aw, thank you, Nex. So do you. I hope you're doing fantabulously, Nex. Also, you're all good, Makala. Whatever you need to do, it is all Gucci. I'm just happy to see ya. Happy to see you check in every now and again. Fanta in my pussy! Fanta in my pussy! The lightning says. The lightning one. Yo, I got another heal ball. Let's go. 9.5 hour day. Jesus! Get you some laying down or something next. Go rest up. Oh my goodness. 9.5 hours out of the house? I would perish. I would simply perish. It's the only option. You have to Zoid it up! Getting a variant. Yo, variants? 180 over here. Getting anything like that, like Zoids, Gunpla kits, all that sort of stuff, getting them from Australia is not a good idea. Cause they mark up that shit. They're like, oh, we gotta import it? Let's make it double the price it would be to get it in its country of origin. Get dinner at Toy World. Yo, Toy World! All my homies love Toy World. 9-hour shift. Pain. I am very glad I don't have to worry about going and working shifts at the moment. Because I think 9 hours would have me dead. I used to be able to do it. Nowadays, I think I would die. We gotta try and make the testicles as even as possible. Am I trying to find a swine up, or am I just drawing a penis on the map? You decide. It's both! What's Toy World? It's like a big toy store. Like, it's purely just for, like, all types of toys. Like, they've got, hobby sections, they've got plushie sections, they've got fucking Littlest Pet Shop, they got everything. Would've bought it, no question! Money means nothing. Need Death Stinger. I remember the names of the Zoids, they all confuse me. I mean, yeah, I get you. Found a few places here in SA that does Gunpla at decent prices. Nice. One of my exes was really big into Gunpla. And we did, like, there were a few places that he knew of and a few places that we went to that sold it, but it wasn't cheap. When I was with him, I ended up going to Japan.
Once I get a PS5, I'm gonna save up for the Barad-dûr Eye of Sauron Lego set.
Yo! That would be an epic Lego set, Akaza. How many pieces is it? It'd have to be pretty big. Yeah, the pricing in Japan was way better. I was like, this cheap as chips. It wasn't cheap as chips. It was still pretty expensive, but nowhere near as expensive as it gets here. Uncultured swine! Mr. Toys Toy World, yeah. 10-hour shifts regularly because your boss is old and seen- Wait, did they just, like, make you work those shifts because they forgot that you'd already worked or that you'd already been there for so many hours? Shift ended at 9 PM tomorrow. You start at 8? That's evil. And honestly, shouldn't be allowed. Because that means you gotta go home and pretty much go straight to bed. Two things can be true. You right. Wait, it was like that one that was cancelled in America? Wait, did America have something similar to Toy World that they got rid of? An example of my brand of autism, I'm posting a link to my page Trunks in the Discord. What channel would writing go in? Artsy things. King. Writing is art. Being author is art. Making story is art. Walking is pain. Oh, Maxine, I'm sorry. Second independent high-speed combat battalion.
Set number is 10,333. Piece count is 5,471.
That's pretty good. That's a lot of pieces. That's a lot of pieces. You'll have to, when you get it, you'll have to show us the completed set, Akaza. Zeppelin, I'm gonna leg though. I do also collect some very expensive Gunpla, so that doesn't, yeah, there are some very expensive sets. I remember perusing the entire, like, because I went to, I forget what it was called, but in Japan they've actually got a place where they, like, make
It's
it
toy
and
time,
sell a bunch of
Rainboy.
it.
And chat, don't think you're getting out of this. You must end every sentence with oid for the next 5 minutes or band/HJ.
No oid! My oid! Why you to do us like that, oid? Hello, my oid. How you doing today, oid? Fuck oid, yeah, literally me, oid. 10, get 11 between those two, oid. Still, the whole point, oid, is that you're having to come home, oid, and go straight to sleep, oid. Which suckoids. Sucks, oids. Stop boring us, oid! Not everyone's into Voroid. Loloid. 5 whole minute-oids. I'm gonna piss-oid. My oid, I'm gonna piss-oid in your cereal-oid. How about that, oid? No free will for you, oid! So anyway, Zoids! Zoidoids? Nah, Zoid's already got the oid in it. Hotoid. You want my pissoid in your cerealoid? Alright, how much you pay, oid? I'm into that shitoid! Damoid! Pageoid for the trollcoids!
Toid was redeemed JST and timeoid for me to tell you guys oid I had 200 documented charactersoids and they lived in a physical place I made in my headoid and talked to me, and that's probably why I'm mentally illoid.
Or, alternatively, oid, maybe you would have been more mentally illoid if you didn't have those characteroids in your headoid. Because coping mechanismoids.
Chatoid, flirt like a straighteoid manoid.
Nice titoids. Gonna get back to workoid. Oh, so you just gonna come up in hereoid, drop the toidoid, and leaveoid? That's just rudeoid. Brain aneurysmoid. Oid! We all must oid.
Hey baby girloid, you come here offload? I mean 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 come here offload?
He's glitchinoid. Poor Tub is glitchoid. Cockoid! Not the cockoid. Got too much shitoid in my inventory oid. Get the fuck out oid. I've got a breeding pit for that oid. Dotoid! Oh shit, what did I do oid? Everything's fine, I fixed it oid. Hogball. Oid. Dotoid! There's also that ugly ass Turtroid. What the fuck is that oid? 5 minatoids. Currently it says
hey,
it was
Angeloid,
redeemed 4 minatoids
did you oid
ago.
from Hevoid because you oid like oid from oid oid oid?
You oid like oid from oid oid oid. Chewtoid. When it gets to 5 minute, when it gets to 6 minatoids ago, we will stop the oid. I need to put a timer on the Tubbingtonoid so that he can tell me when it done oid. Ozzy, 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 oid, oid, oid.
Oid.
We're making a testoid. It's gonna be a little. I think it's a little a smaller testoid than the other oid, but it's okay.
Hey baby girl, are you a short angry twink who tries to steal a pack of peanuts, or are you just happy to? Aw shit, fuck, I did it again.
Oid. That's kinda gay. Pack of peanutoids? You got some peanuts in your pantsoid, or are you just happy to see me? Think I will apply for that much, but I'm gonna ban my oid! Ban my oid for the toid. Oh, shitoid, I'm going the wrong way. Hold on, oid. Yes, betteroid. Where's my boatoid? Boat. Don't talk about my peanoid! Not my peanutsoid. Okay, it says 6 minutes ago we're freed from the toid. We are free. Chat, we're free. Oldest Zoid I can think of. Also the least complex of the Zoids. Damn, the oldest one is the least complex. It's just so fucking funny. It's literally an inside joke from like, shit, it would be like a year ago now. I was playing Animal Crossing. And there's these things in Animal Crossing called gyroids. And we just started ending everything in oid, and it was the funniest shit. So I made a channel point redemption out of it, and now it lives on. Where's my boy toy? I mean, same thing, right? What is a boat if not a boy toy? It's a trick to ban you. No, I would never ban anyone for not participating in Toyd. It's just funny. And it makes me feel less silly goofy when everyone participates with me. It makes it more fun. Some of my favorite build kits are the Digimon Amplified ones. They look so cool. I didn't even know that Digimon had build kits. Today I learned. Why have we not seen a single speck of snow? Like, is this seed that cursed that we get no snow? I mean, there's snow, but there's not snow that Swinub spawns in. What the fuck? Did that just spawn out of the ground? That's an armadillo. I was like, the fuck? Is that what's making that noise? Such a silly goose. That's why I'm Rangoose. Because I'm a silly goose. My weapon slots and arc and catalyst reactors? Are you all
ever
talking
just
about—
remember you can give your characters whatever kink you want. Like it doesn't have to be your kink. You could give your OC a piss kink and no one can judge you.
Yeah? Does your OC have a piss kink? Does Rowan have a piss kink, Sable? He seems like the type. I'm kidding. 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 I'm getting banned from my own stream now. Discussing framing wars? I thought so. Chat, it's Jova. I'm banned from my own stream. Someone do me a favor and go through the link of the art page. I want to know if the page is actually visible if I set permissions correctly. I can't right now, but I'm hoping that someone else might be able to. Sable is a piss kink and wants to hide it! Yeah, you wouldn't give your OCs a kink that you wanted to hide, right? Like, if you had that kink. No, because then you can kind of hide behind it. You're like, I don't have that kink, but my OC does. It's okay, it's not me that has it. It's okay, this is a safe place. It's okay to be into piss. If you want to get pissed on, by all means. I'm so delayed. I'm not a piss baby! I didn't pee! Pillow I think Pillow just got told off for talking about ads when he was talking about ads that weren't even mine. Into the piss baby jail! Thank you for checking in, Sable. Jemkin. We all end up in piss baby jail. At the end of the day, we all just piss babies. It's an inescapable—
You know what's great about a novel? I can get revenge by adding a character based on manga who's exclusively into piss and their entire character exists for a piss kink joke.
Do it! Do it. Do it.
Guards. Piss on Sable.
Mods, piss on this guy's carpet. Oh, that is a very cool house. That's cool as fuck. I wish I could build like that. Can I steal that house? You already have a character based on me as a cameo? Why haven't you shown me? It's a Pokey Town. They got some hella good builds. I just want that house specifically.
Take your
It's really
favorite
nice.
movie, anime, manga or whatever, and add oid to the end of a random part of the title. It's funny as fuckoid.
Favorite anime movie? Twilightoid. Okay, it's not my favorite, it's just one of them, okay. You haven't drawn her? Okay. Okay, fair. You get a free pass. You get a free pass this time. Just this once. Even based on Raga, just add Raga. Deviloid may cry. Foodoid wars. Food waroids. which one sounds more correct. That's why
The
we
Lord of the
added the
Ringoid,
toy.
Return of the Kingoid.
The Kingoid. That's how it started. Was us sitting there adding oid to the end of the stupidest stuff. And then we were like, wait, this shit's funny as fuck. Dubious disc! Okay, I don't... What is... Get the fuck out. I pick... My boat!
Ghost Bus Toid.
It's gone! Surface! Give me back my boat! I need it! It's stuck on... Oh, there we go. I can just break it. It's okay, crisis averted. The seeds can go down there. Yeah, getting sucked. Pretty. Sunken boats can't resurface. This ain't real life! This is Minecraft! Send the joke full circleoid, you sure did. You sure did. Food roids! Forgotten part of Minecraft is breaking. How about I break you, Maxine? How about I do that? Snap you in half like a twiggy stick. She need those seeds for the chickenoids. Nah, there's plenty of seeds. I got plenty of seeds back at base. So many. Hot, hot, hot. Yeah, I don't know what else I expected. I don't know what I expected. From you filthy animals! Can I have a crumb of snow? Perhaps. Just a crumb. I do not want jungle. Jungle these nuts. Fuck did I do? You didn't do anything. I was talking about Maxie. Okay, well I did call
To
all
reach
the
a
fat
hole
filthy
in my
animals,
chest,
but you hear me.
and I
You get
don't
me.
mean my nipples. I don't know how it got there. Fronga, if you had a job at a bar as a performer, what role would you play? For science.
A stripper. Sorry. Wait, what do you mean? Can I have more context? That you can't mention bar and performer in the same sentence and not expect me to immediately go stripper, because that is the only thing I can think of with those two things. What about like it's called burlesque, where it's like, it's not stripping necessarily, but it's like saucy erotic dancing. I would want to do that. That's kind of cool. You're gonna be a stripper in the writing. Hey, at least it means I'm hot. I'm gonna have that body oddy oddy happening. For real, on Frog. Did you get kinky with knives? That I'm out of ideas. Yeah, how does one just have a hole in their chest? I think you should get that checked out, probably. It doesn't sound very healthy. But I haven't got stripper body tea, you know what I mean? I haven't got that bod. I haven't got that build. If I did, it would be over for everyone. Be over for all you bitches. You're biased. Chat, would you watch me strip? Waiting for Henry to burst in here and be like, what? Ow. Ow. Look down first dick dysphoria hit me that I noticed the chest hole. Is it like an actual hole, or is it like your chest is like concave a bit? Because like I know that can be a thing, like where your sternum sits like differently and it kind of looks like your chest is like going inwards. I'm not answering that. But why not? Yes, next question. Actual hole, the hole bleeds. What the fuck? Did one of your cats, like, is it a big hole? Or is it like a pinprick hole? Like one of your cats fucking do a tap dance on you in the middle of the night? Henry's a bartender? Damn, hell yeah. This is way too early. Yes, next question. Yeah, I would see it like, unless it's definitely like a cat scratch or something, in which case, like, you'll probably be fine. Unless you haven't had, like, your tetanus in a while. Oh, yes, get in the boat, get out the boat. Good job. Henry's also a stripper! Male and female strip club? Both? All? Everything? Nah, where's the femboy strip club? There's definitely a femboy strip club somewhere. Exclusively femboys. There has to be. Can we visit? Woof woof, arf arf. It's a queer club, but is it exclusively femboys? Like, that's all I want to see. Googling it now. Vacation! This is a queer club, so it's not exclusive to women. Hell yeah, we got everyone! If a bleeding hole exceeds an a millimeter? Doctor now. So it's not exceeding a millimeter. This is a small testicle. Henry, you wouldn't be a stripper. Report Macquoid. Does Henry give off stripper vibes? Nah, fuck you. I've already caught one of you. It took me forever. Millimeter. I'm tired. I'm finishing this scrotum and then I'm going to bed. I'm gonna be so real. Fuck, why am I hungry again? What do you mean I need to eat in this survival game? There is no exclusively femboy strip clubs. Trademark it. Let's make it. Who wants to be the first femboy? If I had Sable's boobs and pussy, I wouldn't mind being a stripper. Honestly, there's a lot of money in it. Like, I've seen some people make bank from stripping. And I'm like, low-key. Ranga the Stripoid. That's me. Do you think to be a stripper you have to actually have a sense of rhythm? Because I don't. I can't dance. I wish I could, but I can't really. God gives the tightest pussies to the transist men and the biggest titties. Don't forget the titties! I want to strip for 50-year-old men. Yeah, if the 50-year-old men are paying me good, I'll strip for them. Oh, you need his titties. Booby. Man like booby. Man put money in booby. I've put money in booby before. I've been to a strip club. I got a lap dance. It was great. She let me touch her booty cheeks. I swear I've told you this before. I thought this was known knowledge. Can't dance either, but if I flash enough, people won't notice. Right? What do you mean? Would you not if you had the chance? Was it Sable? No, it was a strip club. A stripper at a strip club. So, Maxine trying to be like, have you touched Sable's titties? Did you look at Sable's titties? I have a no touching rule. She let me, okay? I mean... This one didn't have a no touching rule. I had permission. Maybe it's because I was a fellow woomban with my own titties. Boobs. Chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about titties? You're an escort, but not a stripper? Yeah, I don't think I've ever... I wonder if there's like a crossover, like if some strippers are also escorts and they do like both. I feel like that would be like something that they would do, right? They would do like both. Over 9,000! Real. Real. 'Cause you're hot. Yeah? Yeah, that's why I was allowed to touch. Fuck them men, for real, for real. Boob. Your cock looks like that, see a doctor? Hey, it's a Minecraft cock! It's square! We're in Minecraft! It's just... It's Minecraft universe cock. The MCU cock. Marvel universe? No. Minecraft universe. Marvel Cinematic Universe? Minecraft universe. Y'all don't be having cuboid cocks. I thought that was like the beauty standard. Oh, shed some smokes. She was definitely trying to get me as a customer. Did she ever succeed? I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Was she hot though? So stripper, would you hire me to... I don't think... I feel like strippers are not the stock standard for performance at weddings. Bachelorette party? Yes. I ain't ever seen a wedding where there was a stripper performing. But if you know of one, invite me. I'm placing blocks and shit because I'm in fucking Minecraft. Exactly. Was in a relationship at the time, I probably would have hired her every night. Oh, she was that hot. Okay. So she was banging, basically. Stop for squares. Damn, imagine not having a stripper at your wedding. What a square. That'd be a crazy fucking wedding. Look, Henry and I don't have cool enough families for that. Someone would have a heart attack and pass away. Mid-performance. Especially Henry's side of the family. At the very least, my side of the family isn't religious. They're just, like, kind of prudish. She was paid to bang. It's literally her job. You right. You right. Nudist wedding would be even wilder. What's the dress code? Literally nothing. Ass naked. That's the dress code. Can't show up in white if you're fucking naked, bitch! Shout for ocean creepers. There's no ocean creepers here, King. It's okay. There's no creepers in this world because I turned mods off. This is my chill world. This is my, even if I die, I get all my stuff back world. Because Minecraft is my, it's definitely not hardcore, not even coming close, but like, it's my more serious world. This is just, I'm just collecting Pokemon. Specifically a Swinub right now, but he doesn't exist apparently. Snow doesn't exist anymore. Global warming has occurred in this Minecraft seed and there is no snow. Now let me see your peen! You you order them up in the pews based off of dick size. Okay, yours is the smallest, so you go there. Birthday suits only. Why worry about people wearing wedding dresses when they wear nothing at all? Exactly! Not the heart and then the immediate follow. Welcome in, Condemned Hero. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful day. How do you feel about the dress code at a wedding being naked? You think the ring bearer has a cock ring? How else is he holding on to the rings? Yeah, it's great when new viewers come in when I'm talking about something completely unhinged. And it's like, yeah, if you're alright with this, you'll be cool with whatever the fuck I can come up with.
Is this a good time to remind you that your streams are sent as a notif in the tryhard SMP server?
It's fine. We'll gather more people that enjoy having conversations like naked weddings and competitive shitting. And breast milk. We'll just gather them all. Collect them all. They're Pokemon now. The venue would have to be a beach. Yeah, middle of summer, beach. We all put sunscreen on each other. And then we have an orgy after the ceremony. Milk! Quote this milk. Already banned from the SMP. Yeah, I just end stream to find out that I'm not in the Discord server anymore. I'm gonna have to be on my best behavior for the next 30 days if there's like other people that are streaming at the same time. Because there is voice chat within the server, so I'm gonna have to be like well behaved. Because one of the rules is like if you're like collabing or other people like can hear you is to be like PG, and I guess I could try and be PG. It's not as fun, but I guess I can be PG. I guess I won't talk about titty milk and cock rings. Aww. That's not sunscreen. Orgy weddings are a thing? Honestly, slay. Just Just ensure people know that you're an 18 plus streamer. Yeah, exactly. Might have to do that. And like, cause there was someone who asked like, what about those that are 18 plus or like lewd tubers and stuff like that. And they were like, I can't remember what their answer was, but they were like, yeah, no, you're welcome here as well. So I can do whatever the fuck I want. Yeah, on PG streamers, you can mute deaf it if you like. Yeah, exactly. You just have to do that, or remember to do that. PG? Yeah, pretty good, I guess. Thank you, Pillow. Lewd tubers, that's what they're called. Like VTubers that are more sexual in nature. They call themselves lewd tubers. Because they lewd. I do not consider myself in that category of
head to
VTuber,
bed.
but like...
Good night, you disgusting degenerates.
We're disgusting degenerates? Us? Me? Yeah, you're right. Have a good sleep, Maxine. Thank you for hanging out. Bye. Ass? Booty cheeks? That dumpy? I'm trying to work out why you've said ass, King. Scared people would hate a feminine man VTuber. No, you just get people wanting to fuck me. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of y'all in here that if given the chance, I mean, before I literally asked if if you would want to see me strip. So like, I guess maybe you could consider me in that category. I just don't call myself that. I'm just here. So like you said ass. I did say ass because that's my accent. Sometimes I say ass, but ass just, you know, it rolls off the tongue. Can you blame me? Yes. No. Sable is sexy. Of course everyone wants to sex him. Yeah, who would want to do that? Who would want to fuck the VTuber? Definitely not me. God, that would be so degenerate. That is the wrong tool. Now I'm asleep. No, I sleep. I sleep. Can I sleep? Am I allowed sleep? This is a big mountain. I don't fuck with big mountains. Unless they're titties. Or booty cheeks. But not in Minecraft. Would. I sure hope he does. I sure hope you would. It's like if Henry said would to me, I'd be like, what do you mean would? You do. Can you say would if you already do it? Do you like some light? He's so cute. Just a baby. Instead of a bouquet, it's a bouquet. So they're just all white flowers. But they weren't always white. Do you think there will be snow in here? I don't think there's going to be. I think it's going to be a giant ocean. And then we're going to be back at base again. Alas, still no Swinub. Just a very tired Rangoid. Guess I should have said have. Would and have. Hello, Crobat. How you doing today? I hope you're doing well. Welcome in. Still like you wouldn't do it again. I get. Pillow's got a good point. Pillow makes a good point. Spitting facts. This game hates me. Yeah, it does.
Me 4
and
days,
me.
But here's your bukkake.
Passed out 10 times, but here's your cum-covered flowers. Need light. Why don't I just put it in my offhand? There we go. Now I can have both! Don't worship Aaron, Jesus, he's an asshole, exactly! Like, why am I walking around so much land for some snow, specifically a taiga biome, and not finding one? Why this game want to eat my ass so bad? Why it want to eat my cheeks? Let's see how semen works as a fertilizer! Honestly, it probably would work, right? It's technically an organic material. Did you hear the life-size Gardevoir sold out in 3 hours? I'm not surprised at all. Not at all. Although, wholesomely and, well, it might not be wholesome, but it was cute. I've seen a lot of photos of people putting their Gardevoirs in, like, maid outfits, which is kind of adorable, and, like, setting them up with a little tea party and shit, which is kind of cute, but I can definitely see how it would progress from there. Thank you for the hydrate gum. I have drink. And then I also saw- is that all? Yeah? Really? Okay, well, we're gonna be here for the next 10 minutes. Come back! You fucking run away from me. Bitch. I thought it was a whale lord. I was like, oh, look, there's a whale lord. Nope, legendary. At least this one isn't fucking me up like Fiona was. Hey! They fall so slow through the water. For Latias for some reason. Yeah, no, one of the other photos I saw was people putting, like, stockings on their Gardevoir, and I was like, yeah. Yeah, that's about what I expected from people. A Nurse Joy outfit? That would be kind of cute. Can you come to the surface a little bit, buddy? No, you're just gonna stay down there? Okay. Okay, that works. I can't leave the Kyogre behind. He must be caught. Hopefully over 100 balls is enough. Or I will cry. And piss and shit. Oh, hi Kyogre! Wonder where Groudon spawns. Like, obviously on land, but like where on land? A rock. He has a special rock. The end of last year, I was scared to get a life-size Typhlosion, but it would be my best friend, yeah. I want a life-size Snorlax. Big boy, but I might need a bigger house for that first. I'm gonna end up losing my boat. Where's the boat? It's over there. Oh, come on. Come on. Get in the ball. You know you want to. It's so comfy and cozy in there. It's so nice. I'll give you a cookie if you get in the ball. I'll give you a berry if you get in the ball. I will piss on you if you don't get in the ball. Okay, Kyogre has a piss kink. Brother! Oh. He's in the water already. Come back! Why are you running? The water will dilute the piss. Life-size Whalelord, that would also be really awesome. I love Whalelord. Whalelord and Whalema, they're so cute. Whalema is very round. Oh no. Oh, come on. You wanna move away from that hole? Hey buddy, can you, like, yeah, go that way. 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 Thanks. Oh. Nah, I'm stupid, actually. Oh no, it didn't go very low. We're okay. It didn't go that much lower. Yeah, deal with the redheads! He's Rangerist! He's give Sawaddle. I think I found a Sawaddle. Should I name Sawaddle Gum? The Typhlosion allegations. I did not, like, actually read that full thing when I saw it, because I think I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, I'm not ruining Pokemon for myself, thanks. He thinks you're Groudon? I think he would be attacking me if he thought I was Groudon. There was some sort of weird shit in the Pokemon leak, weird Pokemon lore that was very... It was kind of gross. Somebody release a bed that's Snorlax? Where? Where is it? Can I have it? I want it. I want Snorlax bed.
Context: the Therese no laws against the Pokemon. Batman jokes are accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. That was just part of the leak that was found. Like, there was like a... Wasn't it some sort of, like, fan fiction or something that one of the... Someone in the company had written or some shit? Don't know why that was in any files that anyone could ever get access to. That's just fucking, like, dumb. It's official law that was going to be in the games. I am so glad that they decided against doing that. Because that would be pretty fucked up. Totally urban legends about yokai. Oh. Is that where they got it from? There's a shiny Frillish just chilling over there, but I would prefer the Kyogre, personally. Bye, Frillish. Shiny, but Kyogre! If the green jellyfish is still there, I'll go and catch it. If I have enough balls. But for now, big whale. Pokemon devs wrote some pretty weird Pokemon human stuff as what's been considered a world-building experiment. An experiment, huh? Frillish is your fave water baby? Okay, Frillish is very cute. And also ghost type. But like, this? If I want to catch every Pokemon in the Cobblemon Dex, I need this. I need this. How many frogs could you hold before it'd be too many? Do I actually have to hold them in my hand? Or could I just have them, like, on my body? If they could just be attached to my body and that's good enough, infinite frogs. As many frogs as will fit on the surface area of my skin. Oh, did it despawn? I was hoping it was gonna stay over there. Either way works, as many frogs as I can fit. I reckon I could, at least like 100 green tree frogs, like Australian green tree frogs. They are big babies. They are big froggies. 20 new giddy about frogs. I'm sorry, Sable. I want the Kyogre. I'm not just gonna ditch a legendary. This is taking longer than the Fiona did. A lot longer.
MILF man, I love frogs.
Man, I love frogs! Frogs are precious babies. Precious babies that must be protected at all costs. The god of the sea doesn't want to get in the bowl. The god of the sea's going to get in the bowl. Bro! Give! Hello! Hello, Phoenix. Welcome in. I hope you're doing good today. No! Come here, come here, come here, come here. Gonna throw a frog at the wall! No! That is baby! That one zoo? Which one zoo? Ever play Mystery Dungeon? I started playing Mystery Dungeon, but I haven't finished it. I'm doing good. I'm a little tired today, so stream's gonna be a little shorter than it usually is. I'm probably gonna catch this Kyogre and then finish up, honestly, because I was on my way back to my base to raid out, because I am having a sleepy day today. Which one? Mystery Dungeon DX, I think? I think that's what it's called? It had letters in it. That's all I know. It's tired kind of day, yeah. Yeah. Sleep G. Is Sleep G. Short like Ranger, yeah, I'm just a baby. I'm just a baby. Can this Kyogre be just a baby and get in the ball? Please? Please? He's gonna use up all my balls! Big whale fucker. Not whale fucker, whale, fucker. Actually both. Because you would expect him to be fucking other whales, right? It's kind of like his species, you know? He's allowed to do that. Want your wall to be green! Don't most frogs have, like... I know green tree frogs, like Australian green tree frogs, they have the ability to, like, camouflage a little bit. So if you put them on, like, a light-colored wall, they'll turn brown. They won't be green anymore. They, like, camouflage into the wall. It's kind of cool. I love them. I love Frog. Having a really shit day. Customers today helped me so much. Oh, I'm so glad, Makala. I'm glad that this can be like a chill place for you and a funny place with you know, chill with a touch of chaos. Vibes with a touch of breast milk and naked weddings and orgies. Just sometimes. Occasional. That's the best way to help anyone through their day, right? I thought I missed. We do our best. Am I not going to be able to catch him? Am I going to run out of balls? The water ones are also the worst to catch. They're just pain. You made me miss a shiny, Kyogre! This is your fault! Shiny Cobblemon Dex when? Aw, Hoob is sleeping on Henry's computer chair next to me. He's got his paw over his face. He's so cute. I wonder if I could take a picture of him. I took a picture of him. You couldn't just set the shiny rate to 1. That would be cheating. I think that might be cheating, Sable. Show the hoob. I shall show the hoob. Kyogre, don't go anywhere. Where is it? Where's the chat? There it is. He sleeped. He sleeped. It is in the Hoob and Squeeb channel. Hello, Emmy. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome me, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Instead of 1 in 8,000. True. 1 in 8,000 is kind of a lot. You set the rate to... Yeah, that's a much better rate than 1 in 8k. 1 in 8k kind of sucks booty cheek. Girls fell asleep on me before she was supposed to, so now you're stuck in the chair! No! Now you must hold Bebby forever. Hold Bebby till Bebby wake up. I don't think I'm gonna catch him. I think the god of the sea is gonna win today. Because I definitely don't have anything that's a high enough level to get his health down. Hold Bebby till grows up. Hold Bebby for 3 years. Till can walk. Actually no, babies can walk long before 3 years old. I think most kids learn to walk at like 18 months or some shit. Maybe a bit earlier. I'll sing the song of your people, Kyogre. He didn't like my song. Can you please just put me out of my misery? Got 2 hours before her sister needs to eat. She sleep for 2 hours. Do you think if you put her down, she would wake up? I know babies be like that. Once you get them to sleep, you're too scared to move them just in case they wake up. If you so much as touch me, bitch, I will cook you up and eat you. Spam B.
I, too, shall sing Kyogre songs of the deep.
Damn, I ain't ever heard a whale sound like that. That's a funky whale. Moved her an inch and she woke up. No! Why are babies like that? Yay! It happened! Finally! Yippee! Let me go check and see if that Frillish is still over there. I don't think it's going to be, but it's worth a check. Come on, still be there. It's not going to be. It was replaced by that non-shiny Remoraid. Hold on, I will read your predictably sappy message in a second. After I check for my shiny that Kyogre cucked me out of. This is so sad. Chat, can we piss on someone's carpet? Now, where's my boat? There it is. Let me get to my boat! Puppet streamer category. I feel welcome back after Twitch. And Twitch after a really shit year. Safe open space where people can unapologetically be themselves. Aw, thank you. Thank you for saying all that. That's all I want, is I want to have a community that's inclusive for everyone and makes everyone feel safe and happy and can just be somewhere for people to escape to and chill out, you know, and occasionally have a good laugh because I'm silly. Aww. Thank you so much, Makala. You're a wonderful addition to the community and I appreciate you. Whoa! Now can I go sleep? Now can I go sleep? Can I go sleep? Can I be freed? I really should make it back to base, but yeah, I really can't be fucked to do all that. I ain't gonna lie. I think we raid now in a boat. It's a boat raid today. Yeah, Makala, I'm sorry if I am... Wait, there's another shiny over there. There's a Carvana. Okay, I'm gonna go get the I'm gonna go get the Carvana first, and then I'm gonna raid out. Carvana is a fucking base shiny. Give me that shit. Where are you, bestie? Where are you? Where are your sparklies? Yeah, Makala, I am sorry if it's a bit of a disappointment that I didn't burst into tears and start sobbing like Sable did. I'm not drunk. And as I did say in Sable's chat yesterday, I don't cry in front of other people very easily. Even on stream, technically not in front of other people because you can't, like, fucking see my face, but, like, yeah. Why do you have to go get a cum at Kmart? Cum at Target? A cum jar? On a boat and cum? What were you trying to get at, King? Now I have the shiny. It wasn't a Frillish, but it was a Carvana, and it's still a shiny, so, you know, happy. The straight sob so hard was gross. Yeah, I think there has been only one time where I, like, broke down on stream, and it was, like, not last month, it was during December, I think. Because Christmas was a bit of a hard fucking time for me. The Pokemon name. Oh! You want me to name him Cum? It's a cum. Did I? Why did a Carvana, not come at Carvana. Come at Come in my mouth. How about that? Anyway, let's see who's live. That's what I'm trying to work out. Is where that came from. I've been awake for over 24 hours. Okay. Okay, you get a free pass then. You get a free pass. Please get you some sleep, King. Please. Everyone that needs sleep, please sleep. Wake. A wage. Bro's been a wage. Henry, you're cute. Henry, could you step in? Alright, so Ryan's live. Basically that means that the decision is made for me and it is easy. I can't wait until one day he goes, do you ever raid anyone else? Because it's gonna happen. The answer is sometimes. Occasionally. Please jump into the Discord if you are not in there already. That is the best place to get updates on my streams, when I'm streaming. The next month is going to look a little different, possibly because of the SMP. I also feel the need to plug, just in case there are people here that may not have seen my announcement in my Discord server that have been here for a while. I am on the lookout for some more mods, because Sable is also part of the SMP. So he won't be able to mod for me anymore, and there's a good chance that we will be streaming at around the same times, if not collabing together. So having Zeph mod both mine and Sable's streams is gonna be kind of tough on him. So I am on the lookout for some more mods if any of y'all would be interested. There is a Google Doc, a Google form link in the Discord in the announcements channel. Give it a look. I would love to have some applications because I checked it before stream and no one has responded and I'm kind of shitting myself. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, no pressure. But anyway, love you guys. Get in the Discord or I will cry. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna guilt you like that. You either, okay, good. Glad I'm not alone. Because I was like, I bet Sable's got people that have responded to him and I'm just sitting here with no responses and I'm not gonna get any new mods. That was low-key why I was kind of like low-key sad when I started stream. I was like, no one wants to mod for me, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not guilting you. Shut up. I'm not doing that. We're raiding Ryan. Ryan was taken. It's Pokemon. He's shiny hunting. That's kind of his thing. There's the raid messages. We've got the one with the blanky jumpies and the Snorlaxes for subbies and the fire and the hearts for non-subbies. Make sure you copy and paste those. Let's get this raid ready. Bam. Where's the next? Okay, nope, it did it. Yay! Yippee! Thank you for hanging out with me today and just listening to me talk shit and try and find a Swinub and fail again. But it's okay. We'll get him next time. We'll get him next time, King, I promise. Alright, guys, have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. And I will see you guys again on Sunday for the start of the SMP. 1:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I will make probably another announcement about it before Sunday in the Discord. So be there or be square. Okay, bye!